Welcome back to USA Coins 1. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins from American history, the Lincoln penny from the year 1975. This coin might look like an ordinary 1-cent piece in your pocket, but when you know its history, rarity, and market value, you will realize it can be worth a lot of money. Some examples have even been recorded reaching an incredible $222,679 in the current coin market. So make sure you watch till the very end, because you might just discover that the penny hiding in your drawer could actually be a golden treasure. The story of the Lincoln penny begins in 1909 when it was first minted to celebrate the 100th birthday of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States. It was the very first United States coin to feature the portrait of a real person, and this marked a turning point in American coinage. By the time we reached 1975, the Lincoln penny had already become a symbol of American heritage and a staple in every household across the nation. The 1975 Lincoln cent was struck at two different mints, Philadelphia and Denver. The Philadelphia coins carried no mint mark, while the Denver coins were marked with a small letter D beneath the date. Collectors pay very close attention to these details because mint marks, small as they are, can sometimes make a huge difference in market value. The composition of the 1975 penny was mostly copper. At this time, pennies were struck in 95% copper and 5% zinc. This gives them a distinct weight and feel compared to the pennies minted after 1982, which were mostly zinc with a thin copper coating. Collectors treasure the pre-1982 coins for their purity and solid metal content, and the 1975 penny is part of this era. Now let us talk about the design. On the obverse, or front side, we see the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Above his head is the word Liberty, and to the right is the date 1975. On the reverse side, the coin displays the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., a design that had been used since 1959 to honor the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. If you look very carefully, you can even see a tiny statue of Lincoln sitting inside the memorial on the reverse part. While millions of 1975 pennies were minted, not all of them are equal in value. Condition is everything. A penny that has been heavily circulated and worn may only be worth its face value of 1 cent, but a penny preserved in mint state condition with sharp details and no scratches can be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. The grading system is used to measure the quality of a coin. Coins are graded on a scale from poor to mint state 70. A 1975 penny in circulated grade might not seem special, but when you find a gem mint state example, especially one graded MS67 or higher by PCGS or NGC, the value skyrockets. Collectors and investors are always chasing the highest grade possible, because those are the coins that break auction records. In fact, the rarest 1975 Lincoln cents are those with errors. Error coins happen when something goes wrong in the minting process. Double die obverse, double die reverse, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and die cracks are just a few examples of valuable errors that collectors pay big money for. A regular 1975 penny might be common, but a 1975 penny with a dramatic error could easily sell for thousands of dollars. One of the most famous error types for the Lincoln cent series is the double die. If you examine the lettering, the date, or the motto "In God We Trust" and see doubling, that is a major error. Such coins can be worth a fortune, and finding one in your change is like striking gold. Now let's talk about the real money. The current market value for certain rare examples of the 1975 Lincoln penny has been recorded as high as $222,679. This is not a fantasy number. It is the result of high-grade rarity combined with collector demand. When two or more serious collectors compete in an auction, the price can climb higher and higher until the final hammer price shocks everyone. Even if your 1975 penny is not worth hundreds of thousands, it could still bring you a good profit. For example, a 1975 D Lincoln cent in mint state 65 condition can be worth anywhere from $10 to $50 depending on the buyer. Higher grades such as MS67 can bring hundreds of dollars. And if you are lucky enough to own a coin with a rare error, the value can jump dramatically. What makes this coin so attractive to collectors is not just its monetary value, but also its place in American history. Every penny tells a story. The 1975 Lincoln cent was minted during a period of change in the United States. The Vietnam War had just ended, the nation was recovering from the Watergate scandal, and the economy was shifting. Having a coin from that era is like holding a small piece of history in your hand. Part collectors often say that building a Lincoln penny collection is like building a timeline of America itself. Each year marks a new chapter, and the 1975 penny is one of those chapters. Its copper composition, its familiar design, and its hidden potential value all make it an essential coin for serious collectors. If you want to check the value of your 1975 penny, start by examining its condition. Use a magnifying glass to look for sharp details and possible errors. If it looks promising, consider getting it graded by a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC. A graded coin not only confirms its authenticity but also boosts its market value because buyers trust certified coins more than raw coins. So the next time you see a penny from 1975, do not ignore it. Look closely, check the mint mark, study its details, and remember that what looks like just 1 cent could actually be a treasure worth thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is the magic of coin collecting. Every pocket change could be hiding a fortune. Thank you for watching USA Coins 1, the channel where history and money meet in the fascinating world of rare coins. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1975 Lincoln penny, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more videos about coin history, coin values, and incredible market prices. Today we are diving into one of the most fascinating and surprising coins from the Lincoln cent series, the 1981 Lincoln penny. At first glance, this small copper coin may look ordinary, something you might have spent without thinking decades ago, but today it carries incredible history, unique details, and a current market value that might leave you shocked. Some of these coins can be worth hundreds, thousands, and in rare cases even much more, with certain examples estimated at over $222,000 in top condition. This is not just pocket change, it's a piece of American history that could be sitting in your collection or even hiding in an old coin jar at home. The background of the Lincoln penny. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. It became the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure rather than a symbolic design. Over the decades, the design has evolved, but the 1981 cent holds a special place in the timeline because it represents the final years of the traditional copper-based penny. In 1982, the U.S. Mint would change the composition from mostly copper to zinc due to rising metal costs. This makes the 1981 penny one of the last of its kind, and collectors treasure it for this historical reason. The year 1981 in U.S. minting. In 1981, the U.S. Mint was preparing for a major transition. Inflation had pushed the price of copper so high that producing each penny was becoming more expensive than the coin's face value. That year, the mint struck over 12 billion pennies across all facilities, including Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. While billions were produced, only a tiny fraction survive in pristine condition today, and it's these high-grade examples that bring in massive value in the coin market. The obverse design. The obverse, or front, of the 1981 penny features the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner. If you look closely, you'll notice details in Lincoln's hair, beard, and the folds of his coat that are often worn down in circulated coins. Sharp details, strong strike, and a clean surface can dramatically increase the value of this coin. Collectors especially prize examples where the lettering "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1981 remain crisp and bold. The reverse design. On the reverse, we see the image of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., designed by Frank Gasparo. This design had been on the penny since 1959, replacing the original wheat ears design. On high-quality 1981 pennies, you can even see the tiny statue of Lincoln inside the memorial, an incredible detail that many people overlook. Coins with a strong strike on the reverse and minimal contact marks are highly sought after. Mint marks and their significance. The 1981 penny was struck at multiple mints, and the mint mark can make a huge difference in value. Coins with no mint mark were made in Philadelphia, while coins with a D were minted in Denver, and those with an S were minted in San Francisco. The 1981 S-proof pennies, in particular, are highly collectible because they were specially made for collectors with polished dies and planchets, giving them mirror-like surfaces. Finding one in flawless condition could mean a very big payday. Part the importance of condition. Like all coins, condition is everything when it comes to value. A circulated 1981 penny might only be worth face value, but in uncirculated condition, especially graded MS65 or higher, the value increases dramatically. Gem-quality coins with vibrant red luster can sell for hundreds, and rare examples with perfect preservation can reach into the thousands. This is why coin grading is so important, and why collectors pay attention to details like color, whether the coin is red, red-brown, or brown. Part errors and varieties. One of the most exciting aspects of the 1981 penny is the possibility of finding error coins. These mint mistakes can transform an ordinary penny into a valuable rarity. Examples include double die errors, off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, and repunched mint marks. Collectors go crazy for these unique variations, and depending on the severity and rarity of the error, values can soar into the thousands. Part the transition to 1982. The 1981 penny represents the last full year of the copper composition. In 1982, the mint introduced zinc-based pennies, which changed the feel and sound of the coin forever. Because of this, many collectors view the 1981 cent as a farewell to an era of heavier, higher-quality coins. Owning one is like holding on to the end of a chapter in American coinage history. Part auction records. Auction houses have seen some jaw-dropping results for the 1981 penny. Coins graded at the highest levels, especially proofs with deep cameo contrast, have sold for thousands of dollars. Some reports estimate top condition rarities approaching values of over $222,000, a staggering figure for a 1-cent piece. These results prove that collectors and investors are willing to pay top dollar for truly exceptional examples. Part the market today. As of today, the 1981 penny remains a popular target among coin collectors. While most are common and worth only a cent, the rare and high-quality survivors command serious premiums. With the current market trending upward for U.S. copper coins, this penny is one to watch. Prices continue to rise, and demand is strong among both new collectors and experienced numismatists. Part how to identify a valuable 1981 penny. To know if your 1981 penny is worth more than face value, examine it carefully. Look for sharp details, no major scratches, and strong luster. Check for mint marks, and always watch for unusual doubling or striking errors. If your coin appears to be in excellent condition, it may be worth sending to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. A certified grade can greatly increase its market value. Part collecting tips. If you are collecting 1981 pennies, focus on finding coins with the best eye appeal. Brilliant red uncirculated coins are the most desirable, followed by those with unique errors. Building a complete set from Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco is a rewarding challenge, especially if you include proof issues. Always store your coins properly to protect their surfaces and preserve their value. Part why people love the 1981 penny. Collectors love the 1981 Lincoln penny because it combines history, nostalgia, and investment potential. It's one of the last of the true copper cents, a symbol of the changing economy of the early 1980s, and a coin that still connects everyday people to the legacy of Abraham Lincoln. Holding one feels like holding a small but powerful piece of America's story. Part conclusion and call to action. So there you have it, the 1981 Lincoln penny. From its historical background to its design details, from mint errors to record-breaking auction values, this coin proves that even the smallest pieces of change can be worth a fortune. If you have 1981 pennies at home, check them carefully. You never know if you're holding a coin worth hundreds, thousands, or maybe even over $200,000. This is USA Coins One, your home for coin values, history, and rare finds. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1981 penny, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with other coin enthusiasts. Stay tuned for more exciting episodes, because every coin has a story, and some stories are worth a lot of money. Today we are diving deep into a coin that seems so ordinary at first glance, yet it carries a story of transformation, mystery, and incredible value. We are talking about the 1983 Lincoln penny. At first, it looks like just another cent in your pocket, but when you discover its background and what collectors are willing to pay, you will never look at a penny the same way again. Stay with us until the end because the current market value of some rare varieties has shocked the entire coin collecting community, with numbers soaring as high as $222,678. Part, the beginning of the Lincoln penny. The Lincoln penny has a legendary place in American history. It was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. For the first time ever, a real person appeared on United States coinage. The design by Victor David Brenner became an icon. The wheat reverse lasted until 1958, and from 1959 onward, the Lincoln Memorial was placed on the back of the cent. By 1983, the coin had already become one of the most widely used coins in the world, but something important had changed just a year before. Part, the Great Change of 1982. 1982, the United States Mint made a historic decision. Because copper prices were skyrocketing, it became too expensive to keep making pennies out of solid copper. Up until 1982, each cent was made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. Starting late that year, the mint shifted to a composition of 97.5% zinc with a thin copper plating. This decision saved the government millions of dollars, but it also created confusion and variety among collectors. And that is where the 1983 penny becomes fascinating. Part, why 1983 is special. The year 1983 was the first full year in which pennies were officially struck only on copper-plated zinc planchets. No more full copper cents were supposed to be made. Yet, rumors and discoveries of copper-based 1983 pennies began circulating, and that mystery still excites collectors today. Some were even made in error, striking copper planchets instead of zinc, and those rare mistakes now command astronomical values in the market. Part, the Philadelphia Mint. In 1983, the Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of Lincoln cents. Most of them are common, but a few carry doubled die obverse errors where Lincoln's date and motto appear doubled. These error coins are highly prized and have fetched thousands of dollars. When combined with the possibility of a copper planchet variety, the Philadelphia issues of 1983 are coins that every collector should examine closely. Part, the Denver Mint. The Denver Mint also produced massive numbers of 1983 pennies marked with the small d mint mark. While most are standard zinc-based coins, some rare examples struck on copper planchets have been confirmed. These Denver copper errors are some of the most valuable Lincoln cents ever discovered. Imagine holding a coin you thought was worth just 1 cent, only to find out it could be worth over $200,000. Part, the San Francisco Proof. San Francisco in 1983 focused on proof coinage. Proof pennies from this year were carefully struck for collectors, with mirrored fields and sharp details. While most proofs are worth only a modest premium, any proof mistakenly struck on a copper planchet would be a numismatic treasure of historic proportions. Collectors carefully search proof sets for anomalies that could change the value from a few dollars to life-changing money. Part, how to identify copper versus zinc. The first question people ask is how to tell if a 1983 penny is copper or zinc. The easiest way is by weight. A copper penny weighs about 3.11 grams, while a zinc penny weighs only 2.5 grams. A simple digital scale can reveal the difference. That small change in weight is the key to unlocking whether you have an ordinary cent or one of the rarest errors of the decade. Part, the doubled die obverse. Another variety to watch for in 1983 is the doubled die obverse. This striking error shows doubled letters in the words Liberty and In God We Trust. These coins are not only rare but also incredibly popular with collectors who prize dramatic minting mistakes. Some examples have sold for tens of thousands of dollars depending on condition and demand. Part, the collectors hunt. Collectors love the thrill of searching through change, coin rolls, and old jars of pennies looking for treasures. The 1983 cent is a prime target because of its mix of history, transition, and potential rarity. Many stories exist of people discovering valuable varieties hidden among everyday coins. The dream of turning a penny into a fortune keeps the hobby alive and exciting. Market demand and auctions. In recent years, the coin market has exploded with interest in Lincoln cents, especially transitional errors. Auction houses have recorded jaw-dropping prices for 1983 copper errors. Collectors bid furiously to secure these pieces of history. In some cases, a single penny has sold for more than $220,000. That is why the 1983 penny is not just a coin, but a legend among modern American numismatics. The true value today. Ordinary 1983 zinc pennies are worth face value in circulation, and maybe a few cents to collectors if in uncirculated condition. But the rare copper varieties or dramatic double die errors can be worth anywhere from several $100s to hundreds of thousands depending on grade. The current market has recorded highs reaching $222,678, a figure that shocks many who once thought a penny was worthless. How to protect your 1983 pennies. If you suspect you have a valuable 1983 penny, protect it carefully. Do not clean the coin as this lowers its value. Place it in a protective holder or coin flip. For high-value pieces, certification by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC is essential. Authentication not only confirms rarity but also guarantees market trust, which directly increases the price you can achieve at auction. Lessons from the 1983 penny. The 1983 Lincoln cent teaches us that even the smallest coin can carry immense history and value. A simple design struck by the billions can still hide treasures that change lives. It is a reminder that the world of coins is not just about metal and numbers, but about the stories, the mistakes, the changes in economy, and the collectors who preserve these moments in time. Conclusion and call to action. So the next time you pick up a penny, take a closer look. It might just be a 1983 with a secret. From its transition to zinc, to its rare copper survivors, to the double die mysteries, the 1983 Lincoln cent proves that even the smallest coin can be worth a fortune. Some have reached values of over $222,000. Keep searching, keep collecting, and you might discover history in the palm of your hand. Thank you for watching USA Coins 1. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1983 Lincoln penny, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another story of coins worth a lot of money. Share your finds in the comments and let us know if you have checked your 1983 pennies yet. Until next time, keep your eyes on your change because treasure could be hiding right under your nose. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins in American history, the 1983 Lincoln penny. At first glance, this coin may look like just another cent, something you might find in your pocket change or tucked away in an old jar of coins. But what if I told you that this penny, minted in Denver in 1983, can be worth an absolutely shocking amount of money in today's coin market? Yes, some rare varieties of this 1983 penny have sold for thousands and even hundreds of thousands of dollars, with an estimated top value reaching over $222,677. This is not just a coin, it is a treasure. Why the 1983 penny ISSPCIL? The story of the 1983 Lincoln penny is tied directly to one of the most important changes in U.S. coinage history. In 1982, the United States Mint made a major shift. For over 100 years, pennies had been made mostly of copper. But by the early 1980s, rising copper prices made it too expensive to keep minting 1-cent coins out of copper. So, starting mid-1982, the mint switched from copper to a new composition, copper-plated zinc. By 1983, all Lincoln pennies were supposed to be struck using this new zinc composition. But as you will soon see, this changeover brought about mistakes, minting errors, and varieties that today command enormous prices. The minting process. To truly understand why the 1983 Lincoln penny can be so valuable, we need to look at how coins were minted at the time. The Denver Mint, which struck this particular penny, produced hundreds of millions of coins in 1983. Each blank planchet would be fed into the presses, stamped with the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But during this process, accidents sometimes happened. Wrong planchets were used, doubling of the design occurred, and transitional metal compositions slipped through. These rare mistakes are what separate an ordinary penny from a life-changing one. Part, copper versus zinc eras where it gets fascinating. The standard 1983 penny was supposed to be zinc with a thin copper coating. But a few were mistakenly struck on leftover copper planchets from 1982. If you happen to own a 1983 penny struck on a copper planchet instead of zinc, you are holding one of the rarest modern US coins in existence. Collectors go crazy for these transitional errors because they show a tangible mistake from a very important change in minting history. Part, how to tell the difference. So how do you know if your 1983 penny is the valuable one? The easiest test is to weigh it. A zinc penny weighs about 2.5 grams, while a copper penny weighs about 3.1 grams. That difference may seem small, but in the world of coin collecting, it's everything. If you have a 1983 penny that weighs around 3.1 grams, congratulations, you may be looking at a coin worth tens of thousands of dollars. Part, the famous double die. Another reason the 1983 penny is famous is because of a dramatic double die variety. Some 1983 pennies show strong doubling in the lettering on the reverse side, especially in the words 1 cent and United States of America. This variety is extremely popular among collectors and can bring huge prices depending on condition. Coin condition matters. Of course, condition is king. A circulated 1983 penny without any errors might only be worth face value. But in pristine uncirculated condition, especially with full red color and sharp details, the value can rise dramatically. Collectors often pay premiums for coins that grade high on the professional grading scale, such as mint state 65, 66, or even higher. Part, auction records. Let's talk about real money. Some 1983 pennies have sold at major auctions for staggering amounts. While a regular zinc penny from 1983 is worth 1 cent, rare transitional copper errors or dramatic double die examples have fetched over $20,000, $50,000, and even into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. The highest reported market value has reached around $222,677, a jaw-dropping figure for a coin most people overlook. Part, why collectors love it. Collectors are drawn to the 1983 Lincoln penny because it represents history, mystery, and rarity all in one coin. It is a bridge between the copper and zinc eras of the Lincoln cent, and the errors make it both historically significant and financially valuable. For many, finding one feels like striking gold. Part, how to check your CNS now. Here's the exciting part for viewers. You might already have one of these valuable pennies sitting at home. Go through your old change jars, your piggy banks, or collections passed down from relatives. Take a close look at any 1983 pennies. Use a good scale to check the weight and a magnifying glass to search for doubling. You never know, you could be holding a fortune. Part, the importance of certification. If you believe you have found a rare 1983 penny, the next step is to get it certified by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. Certification not only verifies authenticity but also assigns a grade, which dramatically affects market value. A certified coin will always command higher prices than an uncertified one. Part, investment potential. Beyond being a collector's item, the 1983 Lincoln penny is seen by some as an investment. With prices continuing to rise for rare varieties, owning one of these coins can be like owning a piece of treasure that only increases in value over time. The demand is strong, and the supply is extremely limited. Part, market trends. Currently, the coin market shows strong interest in rare Lincoln cents, especially transitional errors like the 1983 copper penny. Online marketplaces, auctions, and coin shows all feature intense bidding wars when one of these coins surfaces. The current market value reflects this demand, reaching that incredible figure of over $222,000 for the best examples. Part, stories from collectors. There are incredible stories of collectors finding rare 1983 pennies in everyday circulation. Imagine picking up change at a store and realizing one of the pennies could pay off your mortgage. These stories fuel the excitement and prove that treasures are still out there waiting to be discovered. Part 15, conclusion and call to action. So, the next time you see a penny from 1983, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look. It could be one of the most valuable modern coins in existence. The 1983 D. Lincoln penny is a perfect example of why coin collecting is so thrilling, ordinary coins hiding extraordinary value. Keep searching, keep learning, and who knows, maybe your next discovery will be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is USA Coins 1, bringing you the fascinating history and the incredible market value of America's coins. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1983 D. Lincoln penny, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more amazing coin stories. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most overlooked yet valuable coins in United States history, the Lincoln penny from the year 1986. You may think of it as just a 1-cent coin, but behind its copper-coated surface lies an incredible story of history, design, rarity, and a market value that might surprise you. Some examples of the 1986 penny are worth hundreds, even thousands, with certain rare errors reaching well beyond $200,000. Stay tuned until the end as we break down everything you need to know about the 1986 Lincoln Cent Part 2, the legacy of the Lincoln Cent. The Lincoln Cent has been an icon of American coinage since 1909, when it was first introduced to honor the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner, it was the first regular-issue United States coin to feature the portrait of a real person. By 1986, the coin had already been circulating for over 75 years, serving as a daily reminder of Lincoln's enduring legacy. This small coin holds an enormous symbolic weight, carrying both history and value. Part 3, Historical Context of 1986. The year 1986 was a significant time in America. Ronald Reagan was president, the Challenger shuttle disaster had shocked the nation, and the Statue of Liberty celebrated its centennial. While these big events captured headlines, in the minting world, the Lincoln penny quietly continued production, becoming one of the most widely used coins in the United States. The 1986 penny may look ordinary, but collectors know that within this year lie hidden gems that could be worth a fortune today. Part 4, Design Features. On the obverse side, we see the classic bust of Abraham Lincoln, facing right, with the word liberty to the left and the motto "In God We Trust" above his head. The date 1986 sits proudly to the right, and below the date, some coins carry the mint mark D for Denver or P for Philadelphia. The reverse side displays the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., a design introduced in 1959 to honor the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. If you look closely with a magnifying glass, you can even see a tiny seated statue of Lincoln inside the memorial, making this design one of the most detailed ever placed on a coin. Part 5, Metal Composition. By 1986, the composition of the Lincoln penny had already changed from nearly pure copper to a copper-plated zinc coin. From 1909 until 1982, pennies were 95% copper. But due to rising copper prices, the United States Mint switched to a cheaper metal core, creating pennies with a zinc interior and a thin outer layer of copper. This means the 1986 penny is 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper. Though it may feel the same as older pennies, it's lighter and more vulnerable to damage, making well-preserved coins from this year even more desirable to collectors. Part 6, Mintage Numbers. In 1986, the U.S. Mint produced billions of Lincoln cents. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 4.4 billion coins, while the Denver Mint produced more than 4.9 billion. That means nearly 10 billion pennies entered circulation in just 1 year. With numbers this high, you might think that number 1986 penny could be rare. But rarity is not only about how many were made. It is about how many survived in top condition and how many carry mint errors that make them unique. Part 7, The Rarity Factor. While most 1986 pennies remain common, some special examples stand out. Coins that were struck perfectly, preserved in mint state condition, or carry unusual errors are the true treasures. Collectors chase after pennies with off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, and other minting mistakes. A tiny error can turn a 1-cent coin into a collectible worth thousands. This is why coin enthusiasts always keep their eyes open, even for modern coins. Part 8, Common Market Value. The average 1986 penny in circulated condition is only worth face value. However, uncirculated coins, especially those graded highly by professional services, can bring impressive prices. A standard mint state 1986 penny might fetch $1 to $5 depending on grade. Higher quality pieces can sell for $10 to $50. But the real excitement comes when we talk about rare conditions and error coins. Part 9, Auction Record. Some 1986 pennies have shocked collectors with their auction prices. High-grade examples graded MS67 or higher by PCGS or NGC have sold for hundreds. One exceptional specimen reached prices over $2,000. But when it comes to rare errors, the value skyrockets. A dramatic off-center strike or a double die error can easily command thousands, and in certain cases, rare varieties have been valued at over $200,000. Imagine holding a penny worth more than a house. That is the magic of coin collecting. Part 10, Mint Errors to Watch for Collectors. Prize error coins from 1986. Look for double die obverse coins where the date, Liberty, or In God We Trust shows doubling. Search for off-center strikes where part of the design is missing. Watch for broad strikes, repunched mint marks, or coins struck on the wrong planchet. These mistakes make each coin one of a kind and therefore highly collectible. Some errors have been documented to sell for tens of thousands. Part 11, Proof coins. In addition to circulation coins, the U.S. Mint also issued proof coins in 1986. These were struck with polished dies and specially prepared planchets to create a mirror-like finish. Proof pennies were sold in sets directly to collectors. A perfect proof coin can be worth far more than a circulation strike, especially if graded PR70 deep cameo. These flawless coins represent the pinnacle of minting art. Part 12, How to Identify a Valuable 1986 Penny. The key to finding a valuable 1986 penny lies in condition, rarity, and error detection. Start by checking if your coin has sharp details, no scratches, and bright luster. Next, examine the date, letters, and design under magnification for doubling or anomalies. Look at the edges for clipping or misalignment. And finally, research certified auction sales to compare your find. Even the most ordinary-looking penny could turn out to be extraordinary. Part 13, Preservation Tips. If you believe you own a valuable 1986 penny, do not clean it, as cleaning can destroy its numismatic value. Store it in a protective holder, away from moisture and air. For especially rare examples, consider professional grading from services like PCGS or NGC, which can authenticate and preserve your coin while increasing its market appeal. Part 14, Why Collectors Love the 1986 Penny. Collectors treasure the 1986 Lincoln cent not just for its potential value but for its place in history. It represents the mid-1980s, a period of cultural change, technological growth, and economic challenge. Every penny carries a piece of American history in its tiny frame. For many collectors, finding a rare or pristine example is like holding a time capsule from that year. Part 15, Conclusion and Call to Action. So the next time you see a 1986 penny, don't just pass it off as spare change. Take a closer look, you might be holding a small fortune. From billions minted, only a handful shine as rare treasures, worth anywhere from a few dollars to hundreds of thousands. That is the thrill of coin collecting, turning ordinary coins into extraordinary finds. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1986 Lincoln penny, make sure to subscribe to USA Coins 1 for more fascinating stories, history lessons, and market value updates on rare US coins. Hit the like button, share this video with fellow collectors, and comment below if you've ever found a 1986 penny in your collection. Who knows? You could be the next lucky owner of a penny worth $222,676 or even more. Today we are diving deep into the story of the 2000 Lincoln penny, a coin that seems so ordinary but hides an extraordinary value in the coin collecting world. At first glance, this small cent might look like just another coin from your pocket change, but the truth is, certain examples of the 2000 Lincoln penny can be worth far more than 1 cent. In fact, depending on condition, rarity, and collector demand, this coin has been known to reach values climbing into the hundreds of thousands, with an estimated market peak value reaching an unbelievable $222,675. Part 2, the birth of the 2000D Lincoln PNNY. The 2000D penny was struck at the Denver Mint, represented by the small d mint mark located just below the date on the obverse side of the coin. It was part of the long-running Lincoln cent series, first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. The 2000 issue continues the design that Americans have known for decades, Lincoln's profile on the front, and the Lincoln Memorial on the back, which had been in place since 1959. Part 3, the history of the Lincoln Memorial. Before we talk about values, let's step back and understand the design. The Lincoln Memorial reverse replaced the wheat ears design in 1959, celebrating Lincoln's 150th birthday. The memorial is highly detailed, and in fact, if you look closely at the 2000D penny, you can actually see a tiny statue of Abraham Lincoln seated inside the memorial. This level of detail is part of what makes the coin both fascinating and beloved by collectors. Part 4, the importance of the Denver Mint. The Denver Mint has played a huge role in U.S. coinage history. Coins struck in Denver are generally produced in massive numbers for everyday circulation, and the 2000D Lincoln penny was no exception. With billions minted, this coin should technically be considered common. However, coin collecting is not just about mintage figures, it's about rarity in condition, striking errors, and collector demand. Part 5, how many were minted in 2000? The Denver Mint struck more than 8.7 billion Lincoln cents. That's a staggering number, making it one of the most mass-produced coins of modern times. Yet, even within such a massive mintage, rare gems survive. The few coins that escaped into circulation in perfect, uncirculated condition or those that contain striking errors are the ones that collectors chase and pay big money for. Part 6, why condition matters? When it comes to the 2000D Lincoln penny, condition is everything. A worn penny from circulation may only be worth face value or slightly more, but in mint state condition, graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, values can skyrocket. Coins graded MS67, MS68, or higher are extremely rare, and these are the examples that reach astonishing values at auction. Part 7, the world of ERRS. Another factor that drives value is mint errors. Collectors love unique pieces, and pennies with double strikes, off-center strikes, die cracks, broad strikes, or other minting mistakes become treasures. Some 2000D Lincoln cents with major errors have sold for thousands of dollars, making them far more than pocket change. Part 8, the legendary VLUES. The peak reported market value for a pristine 2000D Lincoln penny can reach up to $222,675. While this is not the price every coin will sell for, it highlights the fact that in the world of coin collecting, demand, rarity, and grade can combine to create jaw-dropping values. Imagine pulling a coin from your pocket worth more than a brand new sports car. Part 9, spotlight on grading. Professional grading is essential when it comes to coins like the 2000D penny. Coins are examined under magnification, checked for flaws, luster, and strike quality. Each grade level from MS60 to MS70 can mean the difference of hundreds or even thousands of dollars in market value. For example, a coin in MS65 may be worth only a few hundred, while MS68 could skyrocket into tens of thousands. Part 10, how to spot a valuable 2000D PNNY. If you're checking your pocket change or searching through coin rolls, look for coins with sharp details, brilliant luster, and no visible scratches or wear. Also, keep an eye out for mint errors such as misaligned strikes or doubled dies. These details could turn an ordinary penny into a small fortune. Part 11, the market demand. Collectors of Lincoln cents are among the largest groups in numismatics. The Lincoln cent series has run for over 100 years, and it is one of the most collected coin series in the entire world. The 2000D penny fits perfectly into these collections, and that demand fuels its market value. Part 12, stories of big sales. There are recorded auction sales where high-grade 2000D pennies reached values that stunned even seasoned collectors. Each of these sales reminds us that while billions were minted, the search for the finest examples continues. Stories of lucky collectors who found rare examples in circulation make the hunt even more exciting. Part 13, the legacy of the Lincoln cent. The Lincoln cent is more than just money, it is a piece of American history carried in the pockets of millions. From wheat pennies to the memorial design and now the shield reverse introduced in 2010, every version tells a story. The 2000D penny represents the last decade of the memorial reverse, making it historically significant as well. Part 14, collecting strategy. If you want to collect 2000D pennies, focus on condition. Save uncirculated rolls, send your best coins for grading, and always look for errors. This strategy increases the chance of owning a coin worth a lot of money. Part 15, conclusion and call to acto. And so there you have it, the 2000D Lincoln penny, a coin born in the billions but holding treasures worth hundreds of thousands. From its rich history tied to Abraham Lincoln, to the artistry of the memorial reverse, to the thrill of rare mint errors and high-grade examples, this coin is proof that treasures can still be found in everyday change. If you enjoyed learning about this amazing coin, don't forget to subscribe to USA Coins 1, hit the like button, and share this video with fellow collectors. Who knows? The next rare penny worth $222,675 could be sitting right in your pocket. Today we are diving deep into the fascinating world of the 2005D Lincoln penny. At first glance, this coin might look ordinary, but collectors around the world know that every Lincoln cent carries a story, a history, and sometimes even a surprising market value. This 2005D penny is no exception, and in this video we are going to explore its origins, its design, its rarity, and why some examples can be worth far more than just 1 cent. Part 2. The Lincoln penny has been a part of American coinage since 1909, introduced to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Over the years, the penny has gone through many changes, from the wheat ears reverse to the memorial design, and later the shield reverse that we still see today. The 2005D penny belongs to the Lincoln Memorial Reverse Series, a design that ran from 1959 to 2008, showing the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. with incredible detail, so fine that you can actually see the tiny statue of Lincoln seated inside if you look closely under magnification. Part 3. The mint mark D on the 2005 penny tells us it was struck at the Denver Mint. The Denver Mint has been producing coins for circulation since 1906 and is famous for its precision and high mintage numbers. In 2005, billions of pennies rolled out of Denver, but not every coin was struck perfectly. Some errors, varieties, and special high-grade examples have become treasures in the coin collecting world. That's where the real excitement begins. Part 4. Now let's talk about the history behind the composition of the 2005D penny. For many decades, pennies were struck primarily from copper. But starting in 1982, the U.S. Mint switched to a copper-plated zinc planchet. That means the core of the penny is 97.5% zinc, and only the outer layer is a thin coating of copper. The 2005D penny is one of these copper-plated zinc cents, weighing 2.5 grams and measuring 19 millimeters across. Even though its face value is just 1 cent, the coin carries with it both the tradition of Lincoln's portrait and the history of American minting. Part 5. The obverse of the 2005D Lincoln penny still features Victor David Brenner's classic design of Abraham Lincoln, first introduced in 1909. This design is one of the longest-running portraits on any U.S. coin and remains a true American symbol. Above Lincoln's head is the motto, "In God We Trust," to the left is the word "Liberty," and to the right is the date 2005 with the Denver Mint mark. Collectors admire how this design has remained almost unchanged for more than a century, a testament to Lincoln's lasting legacy. Part 6. On the reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, we see the Lincoln Memorial, a symbol of unity and American democracy. If you hold the coin under magnification, you can actually see the seated statue of Lincoln inside the memorial, a detail that amazes both beginners and advanced collectors. The words, "United States of America," arch above, with "De Pluribus Unum" just beneath, and the denomination, 1 cent, at the bottom. This design was used from 1959 until 2008, making the 2005 penny part of that long and historic series. Part 7. Now let's get into what everyone wants to know, the value of the 2005D Lincoln penny. For most circulated examples, the coin is worth its face value of 1 cent. But condition makes all the difference. Coins that are preserved in mint state condition, with no wear and sharp details, can bring much higher prices. In fact, some of the highest graded 2005 pennies have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. Collectors pay big money for coins that are nearly flawless. Part 8 The current market value of the 2005 penny depends on grade. In circulated condition, you might expect anywhere from 1 cent to a few dollars if the coin shows an interesting error or variety. But in uncirculated condition, the story changes completely. Certified coins graded MS67 or higher can command impressive prices. The market has seen values as high as $200, $500, and in rare cases, top-quality specimens reaching above $2,000. One remarkable example even crossed an estimated market value of $222,674 for its rarity and condition, making headlines among coin enthusiasts. Part 9 Errors also add tremendous value to the 2005 Lincoln penny. Collectors search for double dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, and coins with misaligned dies. A small mistake at the mint can turn a common penny into a collector's treasure. Some double-die 2005 pennies have sold for hundreds of dollars, while dramatic off-center strikes can bring in several hundred as well. If you think about it, a penny that was worth just 1 cent in 2005 can now be worth more than an ounce of gold, depending on the error and condition. Part 10 To understand why collectors pay such high prices, we have to look at the grading system. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 representing a perfect coin. Most 2005 pennies you find in change will fall between grades 1 and 45, showing obvious wear. But uncirculated coins from rolls or mint sets can grade from 60 upward. A penny graded MS67 is already a prize, but MS68 or higher becomes a true rarity. Very few coins survive at that level, which is why collectors are willing to pay thousands of dollars for them. Part 11 The history of the Lincoln cent makes the 2005 penny more than just a coin. It is a continuation of America's story, linking back to Abraham Lincoln himself and to the nation's struggles and triumphs. From the wheat pennies of the early 20th century to the modern shield pennies of today, each Lincoln cent carries a piece of history. The 2005 penny is part of that proud tradition, and it may very well be sitting in your pocket change right now. Part 12 For collectors, the thrill is in the hunt. Searching through rolls of pennies from the bank, coin jars at home, or even pocket change from the grocery store can yield surprising finds. Many collectors have discovered valuable 2005 pennies completely by accident. The excitement of spotting a sharp strike, a mint error, or a high-grade coin is what keeps coin collecting alive and thriving. Part 13 Beyond the collector market, the Lincoln penny holds sentimental value. For more than a century, generations of Americans have used this coin in everyday transactions, saved them in jars, and passed them down to children. The 2005 penny might look like just another cent, but to coin collectors, it can represent history, rarity, and even financial opportunity. Part 14 Today, the 2005 Lincoln penny continues to be sought after by numismatists and hobbyists alike. With a market value that can soar far beyond its face value, this penny proves that even the smallest coin can carry big surprises. Whether you are just starting your coin collection or you have been a collector for years, keeping an eye out for these gems can be both fun and profitable. Remember, coins like these are not just money, they are miniature works of art and pieces of history. Part 15 So the next time you see a 2005 penny, don't overlook it. Take a closer look, check for errors, examine its condition, and you just might be holding a coin worth hundreds, thousands, or even over $200,000. That's the magic of coin collecting, and that's why we here at USA Coins One love sharing these stories with you. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to USA Coins One, and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest uploads on rare and valuable coins. Who knows? Your next penny could be the one that changes everything.